Welcome in. I'm Armando Castaneda, and today I'm excited to talk to you about this game right here, which is Blast Radius. Blast Radius is a 2 to 5 player card game that is about to be released on Kickstarter on May 6th. This game was created by Luke Conti at Blast Radius Games, and I was able to get a preview deck to be able to play test and review this thing. So, before you go ahead and back this on Kickstarter, let's figure out what the game mechanics are. Let's figure out the goods, the bads, the uglies, and why you should or should not back this game. So, if you're with me, let's go. Let's talk game mechanics first. The five that stand out the most during gameplay is hand management, set collection, take that, lose your turn, and trading. So hand management is very exactly like any other one. You have a max of 5 cards in your hand. You can draw more at the beginning of your hand, but then you would have to discard back down to 5 at the end of your turn. Those cards that you are collecting in your hand, you use them to collect the sets to complete your objectives. So that's where the set collection comes in. The cards that you are able to draw, some of them have actions on them that allow you to harm your opponent. So you can get them sick, you can steal from them, you can do other things to your opponents. That's where the take that action comes into play. Lose your turn. It's exactly like Monopoly when you go to jail. Once you're in jail, it's the same as being incapacitated in this game. You will have to either roll a 3. If you don't roll a 3, well, then guess what? You stay incapacitated and you lose your turn. And the last one is trading, very similar or exactly like Catan, where I have a card in my hand or I have a resource and I need to trade it with somebody else at the table. And open trading can be done at any time. So those are the 5 mechanics that are shining during this game, and we will break those down a little bit more when I tell you about the game itself. So the theme of this game is about somebody attacked the power grid, and nuclear power plants have exploded, or they've malfunctioned and they've all exploded. And you are now currently living on the outskirts of a blast radius. So instead of it being Walking Dead, it's going to be more of a walking Chernobyl. And you are going to go through and you're going to scavenge through this deck to find things in order for you to complete objectives. So as far as the cards go, the items go, the theme is spot on. You're looking for machetes, you're looking for a can of beans, you're looking for raincoats, you're looking for all this other stuff that essentially one would be foraging in a blast radius. So as far as the theme goes, spot on. They did a really good job with all of the card designs throughout the box. So kudos there. All right, let's talk about game components, or what components come in this box. So like I said before, it is a card game. So it's all cards less the 1 die. There's 5 different types of cards. There are player identification cards that really have it's not like they have variable player powers on them. They're just identifying who you get to play in this game, and they have a cool backstory on them. One of the other things that are in here, you have the sick cards, which if you are sick, it'll tell you what to do when you are sick. So I think if you roll a 6, you get incapacitated. Anything else, you get to play your hand as normal. There are incapacitated cards, which is basically, remember when I told you about being in jail Monopoly? It's the same thing. It says on your turn, roll a 3. If you don't get a 3, then you stay incapacitated and you lose your turn. And then it comes into objective cards is your 4th type of card that are in there. Those are what you are trying to complete. You need to complete 3 of those to win the game. And all of the objective cards are a little bit different. Some of them are go collect items. Some of them are, get somebody else sick, steal from somebody else, so on and so forth. I think there's about 28 objective cards in the box. And the last but not least, there's item cards, which is the 5th type. And there's 3 different types of item cards that you're going to find. And let's break those down. There are normal item cards, which are just generic. You are collecting items into your hand just to complete objectives. Not much more to explain on that one. Then there's action cards. They're item cards that have a little A on the top right corner. And you get to use those in a positive way. So anybody who has a positive, just an action card, will get something positive like, dig through the discard pile and find a card. Look through the top 4 cards and pick one and put the rest back in whatever order you want. Steal from somebody else. Heal yourself. Get unsafe. There's multiple action cards that have some sort of positive effect on the player that's playing the card. And then there is an immediate action card, which is if you draw a card that has the A on it, that has a red asterisk on it, that means that it is a negative effect on the player who just drew that card, because you cannot draw a negative effect card and put it into your hand. It has to be played immediately. So those ones will, all of them are going to at least get you sick or have a chance to get you sick. And then there's even some out there that say, get you directly to being incapacitated and you start losing your turns. I believe there's even a funny one in there that says if you can't tell a joke in 10 seconds, you instantly get like incapacitated or sick. So they do try making the game a little light and fun. It is a party style game. So they do have some aspects in there that try to lighten up the mood a little bit. So those are the 5 types of cards that you're going to find in this game. Okay, so let's talk about gameplay real quick. There's only 2 actions you get per turn. Your first action is always going to be draw a card into your hand. The second action, you have 3 options. You can either draw an additional card into your hand up to 7, and then you have to discard back down to 5 when you're done. You can play an action card and take whatever positive effect that you get from that. This third one is either going to swap out an objective card to a new one, because let's say you don't like the one you have, you can swap them out. Or you can complete your objective, and completing an objective is an action. Um, so a lot of how the objectives work and a lot of how the collecting of cards works in this game really does remind me of Pandemic, where you're trying to collect enough cards to turn in the cure, and then yada yada. That's exactly the same way how the card collecting, turning in for the objective is going to be, and that's how it operates in Blast Radius. So how you win the game is by completing 3 objectives. So I don't remember if I mentioned this before, but the game does last anywhere from 20 to 60 minutes. And if you've ever played a game where you are drawing cards, the reason why the gameplay span is so big is because drawing cards, you need a lot of luck. Sometimes you are throwing away cards urgently, and now all of a sudden you need them because you got a new objective that says, hey, go find all this stuff. And you're like, great, I just been chucking it away for the last 5 minutes. So, as all card games are, they're going to be a wide span, but getting those 3 objectives, you can trade, you can do all the other things to try to speed the game up. And it is going to be, a typical card trading game. So, why you would like this game? This is a lightweight game at heart. If I had to rate it on Board Game Geek, I would probably give it a 1 out of a 5 weight. Like, it's not heavy at all. The rules, I just taught you it in like 3 seconds. It's not hard at all. It can be played on multiple age groups. Like, I played it with my teenagers. I was even able to recruit my grandparents over to see how they played this thing. And you know what? It played just fine. Like, it plays at multiple age ranges, multiple families. So if you have a big family, if you have a big age gap, like, this is a good game for all those ages because it is super easy to teach. Um, as far as the gameplay goes, there's not much strategy in it, so you don't have to overthink. You're not getting analysis paralysis because the game is based off of luck. It's whoever draws those cards. It's whoever has the right objective with the right card pull at the right time is usually the one that's ending up going to win the game. The only strategy in here is how you use your machetes or your blow darts, or who you're trying to get sick, who you're trying to take out of the game. That's really the only strategy that you get to think about, is who you want to negatively affect during gameplay. So, like, you can slow down the person who has 2 objectives. You can do this. You can steal from somebody who's about to win. But other than that, like, there is no objective or no strategy based to this game. It really all is luck. And at the end of the day, when you're like, let's say you've played a long game at the end of the night, you've played some of these games that play 4 or 5 hour long. You're on Mars, you're terraforming Mars, you're, Gaia projects, anything that's, I don't know why I listed all space games, but games that are long, games that are heavy, games that can give you analysis paralysis. This is a lighthearted game that at the end of the day, you can just come back, not hard to think, and just laugh, because there's things in this thing that just make you just die laughing, from the jokes, from the getting people sick, from the stealing, from the bartering. If you've ever, like, this is a much, like, the bartering system of this one, like, you can, way better than Catan. I mean, it was for me in my play, just because everyone's trying to laugh, everyone's trying to steal, everyone's trying, oh, can I do like a 3-for-1? There's just multiple things that everyone's trying to do within the game that it makes it really, really fun to do. So that is why, I think that you would like Blast Radius. Okay, so I talked to you about why you would like the game, and I'm going to tell you what my favorite part of the game is now. My favorite part of the game is the take that mechanic. I love the take that mechanic because it got my teens just dying laughing. It got them to the table, wanting to take somebody else out, using the take that as a bargaining tool during the negotiation of like trading. Like, I'll give you this boot and you give me the blow dart, and I promise I won't use it on you. So like, there's just multiple things that like the take that aspect adds into the game when it comes to laughing, the trading, just like the whole other thing, and I liked it. The take that is very similar to that of Villainous, where you can fate somebody, and you're like, who am I going to fate? I'm going to fate you because you look like you're about to win, or I'm going to fate you because you fated me 3 times, like in a row, and I'm tired of getting fated. So that take that mechanic, it does shine through in Blast Radius. So if you ever, what that take that mechanic is, think of Villainous, and that's exactly what it is. So, and that's why I like it, because I'm a real big Villainous fan, and having that take that like mechanic in here really does make the game super fun for me to play. Let's get into some of the downfalls. Right off the bat, this game has about 2 that I can see. One is a common complaint for me when it comes to card games and the luck based aspect of these card games, of you having to draw to be able to win. It's just, think of, I don't know if you have ever played Bandito or Bandita, the card game where you're trying to keep the girl from escaping. I've had games where I can win in 10 moves, or if I don't win in the first 10 moves, like, I lose because there's just too many options and too many variables. Well, this is the exact same way. The game can end quickly if somebody has the right objective and they just keep pulling the stuff. Like, the game can end quickly and there's nothing that you can do about it. If the game drags too far, then it feels like it's dragging too long because there is just not enough cards in the game in order for you to be able to complete all objectives. So this is a light-hearted game. So you would think that there would be at least enough item cards in the whole entire deck to complete every single objective, but there's not. So there is going to be some deal of card counting in order for you to be able to win the game, or else you're going to have to dig through all of the cards, shuffle the discard pile, and then you're going to be able to get a chance to do it. And if you're playing with 3, 4, 5 players and you're going through this whole entire deck, the game can stretch on for what feels like to be anywhere from like that 50 to 50 plus minute range for this lighthearted game. And that is really the only downfall that I see, is that it is very luck dependent on that aspect. So, but don't let that deter you, because the fun that's in the game is going to be worth the purchase. I promise. All right. Should you or should you not back this? This is what we've been waiting for. And my answer is, if you have teens that you're trying to get to the table and have fun and just have a nice, easy night, get the game. It is amazing. I'm telling you, I have 2 teenage sons, and it's hard to find games without one of them going, this is so boring, and that. Like, it's annoying sometimes. I didn't have that problem playing Blast Radius. They were engaged. They wanted to make dad sick. They wanted to, incapacitate mom. They wanted to do everything. Like, they were bartering left and right. Like, this game got my kids engaged so much. Like, that's one of the main reasons why I enjoyed this game. As far as the gamer in me, it truly is a filler game. It truly is an end of the night, game where you want to cap off game night, because most of my end of the night game nights after I played 4 or 5 hours on a big board usually end in like So Clover, or some of the lighthearted that you don't have to teach very much. This one fits that bill. Like, it's not complicated. There's no barn burning going on up here. If you're already mentally fried, all you gotta do is draw cards and complete an objective. Like, you want games like that in your collection to end the end of the night, especially if you have guys that have, are depressed or sad that they lost their game by so close, and they come over here and hopefully get some luck at the end of the night to recap it. So this is the type of game that you are going to be purchasing with Blast Radius. It is, it's good for the teens, it's good for your family, and it's good for the end of the night fun. So if you need games that fill that criteria, then Blast Radius is going to be a game for you. So that's the conclusion of my first preview video on YouTube for a new game that's coming out on Kickstarter. If you liked it, please give me a like and a subscribe. That is huge for me right now, seeing that I'm such a small channel. If you want to see more about what I do, you can go to Instagram. I'm at B2Meeples. You can see all the other information I've put out there on Blast Radius and all the other games. If you do like this video, I will leave links to my other videos on YouTube. I appreciate all of your time if you're still here. Later.